Hello again, everyone. We have a message from a from a PayPal contribution. And remember, a contribution of any amount to the PayPal link in the description box. If you want your story read on my channel, you go right to the top of the list. Hey, Ollie, hope all is well. I am sending you this email to help give light to the covert abuse I went through growing up as a kid into an adult. I am 26 years old with two older brothers and one golden child sister that acts as a complete image of a narc mother that is younger than me. I know what that's like when your younger sibling acts like, like they're your parent and, like they're better than you. That's your basic golden child, black sheep, setup. It sucks and it's quite common. Sadly, I still live at home with my narcissistic mother who's doing everything in her power, even turning everyone in my social circle against me, to stop my growing from and escaping her prison as I am becoming successful in my life and standing up to her deceit. It's just me and the golden child. I'm currently seeking a one-bedroom apartment to move into the next few months, but being completely quiet about it. That's a very good strategy. Okay, because when the narc is sensing that you're about to bolt and you're about to leave, that's when they're going to double down, they're going to triple down and go all in to try to keep you there. Best you get out quick without them even knowing it, and that way you're already out. You don't have to deal with any of their threats, any of their nonsense. You're out the door. I'm not going into complete details about all the abusive tactics that I went through, as you would be reading a 20-page letter. So I'm going to try to make the the long story very, very short. My mother defines what covert narcissism is. Ever since I was little, my mother made me the scapegoat. I believe it to be because I was emotionally sensitive, outspoken, creative, intuitive, and had a kind heart. My father may also have been a covert narc as well. He would sometimes belittle me using shaming tactics, mostly in public settings, and would always make me feel guilty on things I shouldn't feel guilty about. Again, the narcissist loves to humiliate you publicly, loves it. Until this day, my narcissist mother is a master at manipulation, but makes herself out as a selfless, caring, family-oriented person. She would constantly do fucked up things to her children, but preferably me. Usually when things go wrong around the house, I get the most heat from her. The black sheep always does, okay? Because you're there to be blamed for everything. Something broke in the house. I had to be blamed for it somehow, some way. Didn't matter what it was. The blender could break. It'd be because I distracted her and she put the wrong thing in. She runs over the hose and breaks the cup link. It's because, I distracted her in the car and she made her run over the hose at the wrong spot. It doesn't matter what 6 degrees of separation they use to somehow connect their narcissistic dots to put the blame on you for everything that goes wrong in their life. They are going to do it. My life was somewhat decent from birth to the age of 7 when my golden child sister was born, and then later my father being kicked out of the house. That's when the shit really hit the fan. My golden child sister became my mother's direct attention, as she would stress that she never wanted sons but always wanted daughters, and finally had one. I don't think I have to go any further in explaining the golden child treatment my sister would receive. When my father was put out, my monarch mother would always date and bring random guys into the house, causing me to feel exposed to strangers. These women, man, they love bringing strange dick around their young kids over and over and over again. It's a real shame. And the reason she made your sister the golden child and you the black sheep is you're the male. She's bringing other males home. So, in her mind, okay, Any guy that's going to be attracted to her is probably going to end up being pretty narcissistic themselves. Okay. And narcissists usually try to single out their biggest threat. And with single mothers with an oldest son, it's usually the son. And this is another example of a mother choosing her pussy and getting dick in her pussy over her own children, over her own son. That is exactly what's going on here. This is exactly what's going on here. My mother appointed my oldest brother the head of the household to keep all the siblings in line. She told him that if I in particular were to misbehave or act out, that it was okay for him to physically beat me. I was in complete shock hearing her say that. She knew we would fight over silly things, and her giving him that kind of authority drove me to tears. I was in my room when I heard this conversation taking place. Okay, so you're like the middle child with an older brother who's given basically permission to beat the shit out of you. So she uses your older brother to be the father figure, okay, and beat the shit out of you for discipline. And the rest of it is dumped on you, okay, to be the scapegoat of blame for everything that goes wrong in her life, and so she can bring, some strange dick around. It's a really shitty situation. Over the years, I would be sent to school wearing hand-me-downs because my mother could give a shit how I looked going to school, even when she was getting child support from my father. But she spent the money on herself. At school, that caused me to be mocked and bullied. You would think these family courts would make these women itemize everything, every cent that they're taking in and stuff. No, they don't. All they care about is whether or not the man is paying. Above that, they don't give a shit. And these women are allowed to get away with this shit, to take the child support money and spend it on themselves, okay? And meanwhile, the children suffer. My narcissist mother would always tell me that if my siblings are picking on me, especially my golden child sister, to just ignore them and report it to her, which I did, but of course nothing would really be done about it. Of course, and that's what same deal I dealt with my brother Precious. Don't do it, just tell me, and nothing would be done about it, or I'd get fucking hit for even saying anything or bothering her. You can't win for losing. My mother was a drama queen. When the rest of the family would have gatherings, she would always be the first one to make a scene. I remember one fucked up family event like it was yesterday because that's how badly it still bothers me. My uncle was holding a Christmas party over his house one year, 1997, I think it was. Making the long story short, it was me, my golden child cousin, and my second older brother. All three of us were playing during the function. Kids being kids, my mother got upset, again making a dramatic scene in front of others, yelling at us for acting up. After she was finished, I was the only one called up. She slapped me in the face and told me to sit down. Nothing happened to my older brother or golden child cousin, and they were the actual corporates in the so-called bad behavior. For the rest of the night, I was the only one in the family everyone kept giving shameful looks to. I felt embarrassed and became introverted from that day on. I had a similar story at my cousin's house. We were just being kids in the basement, and everybody was being raucous. And for some reason, I got the shit kicked out of me, and nobody else got touched. And that's really where I realized, that my family, and this is my father's side of the family, are nothing but shit. All of them, and that includes my cousins, and who I know is watching. So, fuck all you. Sorry, some other stuff going on. But I understand that feeling, that hopelessness, like, wait a minute, we're all just playing together down here doing the same thing, and I'm getting the shit kicked out of me, and you're all laughing. Okay. So I understand that frustration. That is something to this day, as you can see, still pisses me off. still pisses me off. Me and my brother would pretty much catch hell for any wrongdoings that might damage her image. At times when she used to beat us, my appointed oldest brother would rush in the room, stand beside her, and watch as she did it. Not only did I have to bow my head to my mother and father, but to his fat ass as well. He would often gaslight to make me believe that I'm a horrible person while justifying the abusive actions of our narcissistic mother, saying that she's only trying to look out for you. He also did cruel things to me, such as mock, provoke, and ridicule me. He and our mother would always tell me to be like my cousin because he was the bright one and had positive things going on for himself. Yeah, and that's what golden children do. My brother did the same thing. Stood there, laughed, gaslighted, and acted like he was better, which I had to remind him, okay, when I talked to him 6-7 months ago when the house tried to get stolen from me, that, don't think we're kids anymore, okay? And the fact that you really believe these things is quite frightening, okay? Because he did try to threaten me again, did try to threaten me physically, and I finally had to stop him. And I think I said this before. My younger brother threatening me is hilarious because I know I've said this, because as a kid, or not even a kid, a guy pushing 40 now who had never been in a fight in his life. I spent 20 years basically fighting every day. I had to get into fights. I was getting into fights since I was 12 years old. This kid's never been in a fight. Okay? And you're so gassed up in your head, and you believe this image so much that you're actually going to threaten me. But that's what the golden child does, and that's what it becomes. And that's why being a golden child is so dangerous for them. Because it gives them this entitlement that eventually they're going to say the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time and get their block knocked off. I hope you cut your brother out, too. I mean, I'm reading this for the first time, so I hope your brother's not in your life, your sister's not in your life, and your mother's far out of your life. Well, no, you're not, because you're still living there. So obviously you're still dealing with these people. So once you can get out and get your apartment, cut these people off forever. My cousin, who's 2 years older than me, was also a golden child, but of the entire extended family unit. It may have been from the family having praise for his mother, who is also my aunt. He would get the best birthday party, personal invites from other relatives to have dinner over their house when he would get off of school. He could do no wrong. At the time, when I was completely unaware of what was happening to me, so I fell for the illusion. My golden child cousin was cunning and clever, still is, even to this day. He would always in subtle ways tell me I was stupid and incompetent, but would cover up the verbal abuse as just being concerned. I was of no value, I was a scapegoat, and he knew it, but I would always let the abuse from him slide. At the time, I was brainwashed and looked up to him. I only saw him as being playful. Well, I don't necessarily agree you saw him as being playful, because it bothered you then, it bothers you now. So you knew it wasn't just being playful because it bothered you. You knew it was wrong, but you didn't have the foresight. You didn't understand what narcissism was. You were a kid. And you're getting this from so many different angles within this fucked up family unit you got. It's only now at 26 years old you're starting to be able to make sense of any of this. So, you realize, yeah, at the time you were brainwashed and saw as being playful. Now you realize he wasn't being playful. But I understand this. I mean, this is a very similar family dynamic that I grew up in. It doesn't matter. Once it's decided that you are the low rung of the black sheep ladder, everybody's going to be put on a pedestal. Okay, everybody. And this isn't something where they have to sit down and discuss, hey, how do we fuck with so-and-so, make sure. It's amazing because there's no real conversation of, hey, let's plan and plot and screw this kid up. No, it's all unspoken. It's all unspoken, and it comes from years and years and years of a narcissistic family unit. Okay, it doesn't need to be said. Everybody knows what the game is. Everybody knows what the deal is. Everybody knows their role. That's why when you step up and you finally defend yourself, it's fucking chaos. And they all snap, and they all snap at once, and they all know where to go to try to throw you off and to shut you down. As I now struggle with complex PTSD, social anxiety disorder, low self-esteem, and helplessness and dissociation, I have an inner critic who never sleeps, very harsh and toxic. Can ruin my day from sun up till sundown, especially if I make the smallest mistake or if something goes wrong. Thank you for the time. Thank you for taking the time to read this and giving me your thoughts about it. Well, you're very coherent in what's happened to you in your past. Okay, you seem like you have a very strong, firm understanding of the narcissistic dynamic, who's taking up what role in your family, and what they were doing to you in the past. Okay, how they were gaslighting you, how they were abusing you. The fact that your mother basically made your older brother beat you like he was your father, and it's twisted. It's twisted. And, you know, there's no difference between brothers and fathers, and your mother's bringing home random guys to bang, and it's a mess. It's a mess. And then they're going to beat you in front of the family for being a kid. You're doing the right thing. Get an apartment. Don't tell anybody. Get out and don't look back. And I think you probably pretty much already know that. Okay? So thank you for your donation. Thank you for your story. I hope this video helps you out. Everybody who's watching, please leave your comments in the comment thread below. Let them know what you think. Any advice, any stories you might have to relate to them would be appreciated. And again, if you enjoy this channel, please consider making a PayPal contribution to the link in the description box below. And remember, if you want your story read on my channel like this one and want to know what I think about it in a video, contribution in any amount puts you right at the top of the list. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all again shortly. Bye.